What's up, everybody? It's your girl Megan, Show Up Fitness Instructor, and tonight we have our night class, and we're going to be going over the frontal plane of motion. So, if you guys don't know, the frontal plane is going to divide the body into anterior, the front, and posterior, the back halves. So think of all of this as the frontal plane. So you have your clock, it's going to be 3 and 9. Anything going here, which is going to be away from the body's midline, would be abduction. And then going back to the body's midline would be adduction. So, am I asking them? Can they be in the, okay, so can you guys demonstrate to me what abduction and adduction looks like?
But that's transverse though.
There we go. Abduction, going away, adduction, adding back. So with the arms. What about at the leg? The femur. Going away and coming back. So just two actions here. Away and coming back. So away is what? Abduction. Good. And coming back is? Good. Adduction, thinking adding back to the body's midline. So there's the two actions in the frontal plane. So we have a pull-up. Now why is a pull-up in the frontal plane? What actions are we doing here? I'm coming back to the body's midline. Good, adduction. So what muscles are we going to work with that? What's the main one we're going to see? Good, lats. That's the main one we'll see there. Whenever you have adduction, you'll see the lats, pec major, coracobrachialis, weird one, teres major, and also the subscapularis. Main one we're looking at there, though, is going to be the lats. So that's for adduction. Then we have a side step up. What is a side step up? Good, exactly. So you're just going up on the side. So why would that technically be in the frontal plane? Yeah.
The legs going away from the midline.
When you're stepping up, yeah, it's going away, and then you're coming back together with it. So normal step-ups, it's going to be coming up and down. This one, we're coming to this side. A little different there. Side plank, obviously. Normal plank's in front, so on the side, going to be in the frontal plane. Cossack squat. I'm pretty sure I messed that up. Do you guys know what that is? So that's when you're coming down here, and you're getting really low. You'll turn this foot up, and then you'll come back. So by turning that foot, you can kind of get lower into it. If you guys have never tried that out, we'll try it out today. Have fun with that one. Then we have DB shoulder press. Good, so what's that action? What is that action? Good, abduction, so going away. So I'm still going away that way. You're looking at the humerus, so away. Good. And then lat raises. What's that action? Good, abduction. What muscles do you think we're working out here? Good, what part? Medial, yeah, sometimes we'll call it lateral, so see that. You'll also see the supraspinatus, about a couple degrees, 15 or so, helping with that. Next, cable, single arm, side facing row. It's a lot. So exactly, so a normal row with the cable, you're here. So sideways, you're coming here. So what is that? What is my arm doing there? Good, bring back to the body's midline. So we have that one, lateral band walk. You guys know what that is, going side to side. So when I step away, good. And what muscles do you think we're working there?
Glutes and adductor.
Not, so abductors, good, abductors. So you'll have your glutes, so you'll have your glute med, your glute min is going to be underneath the glute med. There's also going to be a couple other muscles you guys know. One right here.
Oh, TFL.
TFL, good. Tensor fascial lata, and then there's the really long one in the body.
Sartorius.
Good, sartorius. So those ones are going to abduct the femur. So you said adduction. So when I bring it back to the body's midline, what muscles are working there? Good. So we have 3 adductors. Do you guys know what they are?
Magnus, brevis, lungs.
Good. MLB. There we go. So you have those adductors. Do you guys know the other 2 by chance? Some weird ones. Starts with a G and a P. Gracilis. Good. What about the P one? There we go. Someone's been studying. Good. So those are going to be the adductors, the muscles that are going to help bring that leg back to the body's midline. Perfect. So we have that. We have jumping jacks. Obviously, the jumping jack is going to be the most frontal thing we can do. We're bringing both legs and the arms. We're abducting, adducting the entire time. So that's the frontal plane, actions, muscles that were involved. So now let's go to
All right,
Chris.
so now we're going to do a little demo of a back pain client. So Lauren, you're going to be my client, and I'm going to go right where you are. So let's talk about this first. What is back pain? So tell us about your client.
Oh, do you want her to have the mic?
Oh, no, it's fine.
Oh.
So she got a lower back fracture, a lumbar spine fracture, about a year ago doing a
Can you just double check that's
roller
going to be
skating. So she hasn't worked out in a year. She just got done with physical therapy and ready to come back to working out.
Okay, so do you need medical clearance? No. You're going to meet a lot of people that have low back pain. Now, we have to ask, well, what is pain? Pain is multifactorial. And so you could have someone put their hand in freezing cold water, and one person says it's a 7 out of 10, one person says it's a 9 out of 10. How we perceive it. When I was younger, I could have fallen into a lake and almost died, and now I present a 10. So it's going to be case by case. So pain is it's a magnificent thing. Your clients, who likes being in pain? Keep it PC. There's always one person that's like, no, shit, okay. But pain, for the most part, we don't like it. We hate the dentist. What's the single worst injury anyone could ever experience? Close, a paper cut. You get a paper cut, that fucker hurts, right? You're like, what's going on? You're like, what the heck? It's fascinating. Well, maybe the reason a paper cut hurts so bad is way back in the day when we didn't have the capabilities of washing our hands and we hit something like a little branch. Now we see it like, oh shit, something's wrong. Whereas before, if we didn't have that pain response, maybe we didn't know we had a little cut, bacterial infection, you die. It's crazy. So what is pain? We need to learn about the experience with the client. And the psychological aspect is really, really important. So most people have a bad experience with pain. We need to make it a good experience. So when people come in, I have low back pain. I say positive words, great. They're like, what do you mean great? This hurts. I'm excited to help you. On a scale of 1 to 10, where's your back pain at right now? So pretend like you're the client.
I'm a 6.
Great. So when we go through today's workout, I'm going to see what kind of aggravates it. We're going to go from a 6, maybe to a 7, maybe to an 8, and it's going to just kind of be right in this range. I don't want to get to a 10. If it does get there, let me know. Tomorrow, it's probably going to be right around a 6 to 7, maybe even an 8. Perfectly normal. So I'm setting the expectations that we're going to move today, but tomorrow it may be a little worse. Versus I have the answer for everything. Let's go through this workout. Tomorrow they wake up, what's going on? I'm more injured than I was before. So how you proposition it. Think about if you go to a scary movie and I tell you we're going to go see the scariest shit in the world. You're going to be like, okay, I'm ready for it. Versus we're going to go to a movie and it's the craziest war/scary movie. You're like, what the hell? I wasn't ready for it. If you're ready for it, it's a big, I'm going to scare you on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. I go, rah, she's ready for it. So we need to let our clients know we're going to move. Movement's the best thing for back pain. Absolutely. And they've done studies looking at if you're just bedridden, it's actually not that great for it. One of the best things we can do is walk. So I want you to be really open with me, communicate. I would love to reach out to your therapist because you're working with one. Get some data. That's a networking opportunity right there. What if we're talking about golfing? What if this therapist has 10 other low back pain clients and they're just waiting to send it out to someone? So take it as an opportunity, and then what you're going to do, the professionalism from the client. The client's going to be like, wow, thank you, I will get you that contact. Maybe she's going to go soon, go with her and sit and be fly on the wall. 2 ears, 2 eyes, 1 mouth, use them in that order. Bring your paper, you just sit there, you just take notes. And afterwards, sprout off if you have that knowledge. So great, I saw you get into the deep erector muscles, whatever's going on there. So can you tell me a little bit more why you did that? I would love to take you out to lunch sometime, pay your hourly rate and just pick your brain because I want to learn more about this. Most people will do this. Can I pick your brain sometime? And you're like, great, I get to spend an hour of my time telling some selfish person all my tricks and trades and I get nothing out of it. So the more professional that you are, that person's going to be like, holy shit, this person is, I need a trainer to take care of my clients, because if you have X amount of sessions on your insurance policy, at the end of that session, a lot of times the therapist will be like, you're out of here. If they had that referral tree, that's where you come in. So I like to be very positive, get them to sign the waiver, make sure everything's okay, eliminate any red flags and contraindications. What's a contraindication? So a contraindication is something you shouldn't do. So the client has a fractured lumbar region. So what's this area called? Lumbar. Thoracic. Cervical. 33 bones in the vertebrae, in the spinal column. I want to learn where it is. And I want to learn what makes it worse. A lot of times sleeping in the morning, when they wake up in the morning, that's when it's at its worst. Maybe drinking too much, stress, those are things that can make it worse. On your feet can make it worse. I want to learn about all that stuff from my client. And then I'm going to set clear expectations. We're going to go out here, and I'm going to take you through what I would do with her. I'm going to screen to see how you move, and I'm going to watch you. And I'm going to see what irritates you. Usually with back pain, it's going to be flexion intolerant. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, can you show me something that would provoke that pain response? And so she's probably going to go, so what do you mean? So I want you to, can you do this? So this spinal flexion right here, doing this, probably going to irritate. I don't know though. I'm just going to say I want to do a little screen of 6 things. So this is what you're typically going to see with low back pain. I had an L4, L5 disc protrusion, very similar to what Skelly has over there. And so that's just going to be sitting right on the nerve. And so for me, it was like I'd wake up in the morning and I would literally crawl to the bathroom. It hurt so bad just to do this. I was in misery for so long. Guess what the doctor told me? He told me you're never going to run, jump, squat, deadlift, do any of that again. So imagine what that does to my brain. I'm like, whoop, fuck, I'm scared. So he didn't set me up for long-term success by educating me around pain, like that scenario with the scary movie. So what we need to do is be very positive with the client and let them know this is perfectly normal. Oh, you're in good health. You're fine. I've worked with a lot of people like you before, and you're going to be great. Fabricate that if you haven't. Just say it with confidence. Because they're trusting. It's not like we're going to be deadlifting and doing crazy stuff, but I want to see where that pain comes from. So we're going to go here. I'm the client. It's going to go like this. She's probably going to go like, yeah, like right there. Okay, great. Positive words. Do it again. Yeah, it's just right there. Is it on the left side or on the right side? I'm just kind of weeding out information, gathering data. Is it shooting? Is it numb? Is it tight? Is it dull? All stuff I want is it pins and needles. If it's pins and needles shooting, that's neural. If it's dull or tightness, it's usually muscular. Muscular, we could probably do some planking and some other things that will strengthen the area, probably calm it down a little bit. We're just going to learn. And so then once we screen flexion, what do you think we're going to screen next? Extension. So I want you to go hands on your back. I want you to come back here. So I do it first because I'm not in back pain. I'm going to show them. I want to see where it hurts. So if she does this, she's like, boom, love it. Let's check extension. I do it first, show her. And so maybe she goes, oh, okay, great, love that. because I just found what I'm not going to do. If we're flexion intolerant, how do you think doing bent over rows is going to do with it? Probably not good. Doing a seated cable row, getting that stretch, probably not good. I want to eliminate flexion exercises. How do you think reverse hypers would be for? Think this would be something that she could do? Nope, because you're flexing. You don't want to do things that are going to put her in that same pain response. So let's pretend like we screen flexion, she's good. We screen extension, she's good. Now we have lateral flexion. So I just want to see, can we come to the side? And I want to see, so this is the one to see which part of the spine it's on. So fine, maybe it's like, ooh, something over there. So if it's lateral, rotation or anti-rotation could irritate it. So who could give me an example of like what a rotation exercise would be? Wood chop, pay-lofts, unilateral stuff. So the average trainer doesn't think that, or know, low back, left side is what's irritated. Let's just do some cable rows. I could jack her up. So that's why we want to screen. Typically what I have found, when we flex, when we extend, if they're not used to it, it's going to irritate them. And they'll get symptoms the next day. The second thing is going to be unilateral stuff because the core has to stabilize. So if I do like a unilateral press, I wouldn't want to do, I want to do both because it's just going to be a lot nicer on the spine. So we screen that. She's good to go. Lateral flexion. Last one I want to do is tension. So I want to have her sit down and pull into the chair. I want to compress the spine. See if that hurts. Okay, if that hurts, squatting, goblets, overhead pressing, probably don't want to do that. So I'm going to see where, now typically, statistically, you're going to see flexion intolerant. So it's going to be like this. Right there. And it's sharp. Sometimes you even get like they'll just drop. And you're like, that's all right. I told you this is going to happen. We're going to find that flare. It's not fun. Just like when you have a cavity. We got to find it. Fuck! We're going to get that customer spot. If you set those expectations, when it does happen, the pain isn't as bad. So then we're educating her around the pain. Perfectly normal. We're good to go. I want to find it. And so now that I've found it, it's probably flexion intolerant. So because you said something with the fracture, so it's going to be something on the vertebrae, probably something that's going to affect flexion. So I want to go to your pain. Okay, I don't want you to go there anymore. So I want you to go here. So this is what we're going to do a lot of, even like between sets. Because what you're doing is you're telling the brain, everything's all right. We don't need to be as guarded. Think of it as you got bit by a dog. That person is freaked out every time they see a dog. And do you know the best thing you can do for a victim who's been bitten by a dog? You guys know? Yes, but what type of dog? What type of dog do you think? You can bring them to like a lost and found with a bunch of pit bulls? Probably not. No offense to pit bulls. But there's two things that they do. They bring them to puppies, and they bring them to environments where kids are playing with them. Because you look at kids laughing with puppies, they then go in there and say, oh, this isn't as bad. They still see the puppies, and they may get like little goose hairs because they had a bad experience. We want to bring that experience down. So pain, we don't want to be there anymore. We want to just be there. This is your safe zone now. And if we got over here and there was no pain, and you will know, look at the camera. Watch her facial expressions. Ready? Does your left ear hurt?
No.
See how quickly that was? What your clients are going to do is this. How was that? It's okay. Bullshit. You just lied to me. You registered pain and you're trying to be tough. See how quickly she said no with the ear? It's going to be the same thing. You're going to find an exercise and they're like, oh wow, no, that's actually good. And they're going to really register no pain. If they're doing a side step up, how'd that feel? They'll go, it's fine. No, we're not playing with that. You went and I don't know what it is with people with back pain. I did the same thing. We try to find the pain. So what I mean by that is like, good, this is our safe zone. How are we feeling? And the next day they'll come in, I'm feeling really good. Like it doesn't hurt except like right There. Don't fucking do that. Don't go back into that pain. Stay away from it. So we want to move, and we're teaching the brain to bring its guard down. The central nervous system, right now, pain is like these lights. Really bright, and it's for a reason. There's an injury. But it could be tissue injury, or it could be nervous system, like not injury, it's called central sensitization, where the brain is just sending out a signal. So this is the fascinating thing about pain. If you're driving on the freeway and your gas is low, what happens normally with most cars? Love it. It's a great sign. Pain is a beautiful thing. I love pain. Say that to your clients. I love pain. What? You're a weirdo. Why? Because it's telling me something's wrong. When you're driving on the freeway, or, you fucker, why are you on? No, pull over, get gas. But what happens as we go and push through pain, that light is now always on. I just filled up. So we don't know how to register it. So we got to teach. It's called pain education. We got to teach them that movement is the best thing. So do you think it would be smart with someone who has low back pain to show them a lot of exercises? No, because then you can't pinpoint what it is. So typically I like to show them, now McGill has his 3, and I'll show you his 3, but we like to put in a couple other ones so it's not copying him. So we do planks, we do side planks, and I do a bridge. All 3 of those have in common no spinal movement. So when I teach my client how to do a bridge, or plank, I do it as if I do have back pain. So I sit down, I crawl out, notice how my back isn't flexing. And I'll even just do that with them. Get into a position. How are we doing? I kind of baby them, but I do it like in a good way. Good? All right, see if we can get here. And then come back. Again, just getting little checkpoints. Yeah, they get there. That's fine. Okay, let's go to the next one. Can we go here? Yeah? Here? Good. Hold, 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 hold. Good. Now come back out. How's the back feel? Is it at an 8, 9, or 10? It's not going to be there. It's probably going to be exactly at a 6, maybe a 7. Awesome. Great. That means we're doing well. It's like studying. Sometimes your brain gets a little right. It's good. You're absorbing the information. A 6, 7, 8, perfectly fine. I love it. So we're teaching her that movement is medicine. And so we'll hold for as long as she can. I don't want there to be shooting. We hold until she has to, because she's fatigued, she has to go to her knees. Great, come out. How are we doing? Rest, rest, rest. Talk. Where are you from? What are you doing? And so build that relationship. Maybe do 2 or 3 of those rounds. We're not going for crazy times. We're not setting a PR. We don't want to go for a minute. We just want to encourage proper movement. Now we're going to do lateral side. So same thing. I'm going to watch how I do this. Come up. Now when I get out of it, it's the same thing. I try to keep my spine straight. You're more than happy to go through it. You're fine. I can still talk. I got a good mic. You're fine. So do the side plank. See how it feels. Go to the other side. Rotation can sometimes irritate them. So when you get into that position, make sure that the spine is nice and stable when we get out of it. Like when you teach them to get out of bed, it's an important one. Because what a lot of people will do is when they sleep and then they have pretty crazy anterior tilt. So sometimes it helps to put like a pillow under their knees because then you don't have that tilt. And then when you get out of bed, you want to keep your spine neutral. So you come here, rotate, come out. Little things like that are just gold for them because what they'll do when you have back pain is you learn to live with a 4 or 5. And that's that central sensitization. It's not a good thing. So you want to teach them that movement is good and moving right is the best thing that we can do. So we have the plank, test it out, side plank, and then I like just to end off on a bridge. So the bridge, again, get in that position, driving your heels. You can put your heels, your toes up if you like, because versus squat, when you have your big toe, little toe, heel, when you go to your toes, too much knee. When you go to your heels, you're not going to get optimal force production. But in this position, you can when you do a hinge. So you can, whichever one you like, you drive up, squeeze your glutes, push their knees in, nice and slow on the way down. There's no tilting of the pelvis, so it's not going to affect the low back. And especially when you say, really excited to work with you. I got a couple of exercises that are going to cause 0 pain. I guarantee it. Do I guarantee it? No. But the guarantee is important because they think, like, okay, again, worst case scenario, you're not going to send them to the hospital. It's going to flare up. Well, what happens with the flare up? It sucks for a day, maybe 2. It's going to go back to normal. So it's like those vocabulary words are important. So let's just go up, squeeze, come down. I want them to feel it in their glutes. Pretend like you have a magical $500 bill between your butt cheeks. Squeeze it as hard as you can. Don't let me take it. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. I want your glutes on fire. If they feel it in their hamstrings, we may need to go out a little bit. We may need to tilt our toes out. We may need to come up. You have to just kind of play around with their position. I want to feel it in the glutes. A lot of times you have a low back injury, especially when you go up there and you squeeze. Sometimes you'll be like, I feel it in my right one, but not my left one. That just means that the damage was probably done to the left side, and it's going to take some time. Great, that's actually really good data right there because it's left innervation. Innervation is the nerve talking to the muscle. So we show them those exercises, and then I'm going to do, those are like my 3 safe ones. And then I'm going to do my patterns. We got a squat, push, pull, unilateral, and what did I miss? Transition. Yeah, transition. Step up. Pretty harmless. So if we did the tension test, probably wouldn't hold dumbbells. If the tension test didn't irritate them, I'm going to go light dumbbells. We're not setting PRs. Pain is awesome because we don't go that heavy. We're just going to encourage them to move because that's just going to really get them to come back. We don't want to you're not going to grow you're not coming in here to grow your ass. You may want bigger glutes, but our number one concern right now is your back pain. And so we do the step-ups. Same thing. You'll probably see let's go frontal. So if you see any skirmish, take them out of it. And then maybe that's not okay, that's fine. We don't want to push through pain. We did those little exercises. Then I would do a pretty safe, I like doing incline presses. You could do push-ups, but if we can't do a push-up, then what happens is we're going to get that tilt. So then it can provoke a little flare-up. So do you think she can do push-ups? Maybe. So then regress. If you wanted to do push-up, you could do it on the bar, and you just keep the body nice and straight. I don't want to see any tilting. I don't want to see nice and neutral. You do your push-ups, variations that are strong. We don't do unilateral because unilateral is going to challenge the core and that could provoke a little flare-up. For back, I love doing seated bilateral rows because it's just your lats working. You're going to be nice and strong there. And then for your shoulders, maybe like a landmine press, or if you want to just do there, I do 3 exercises. Step-ups, the press, the pull, and if you want to do an isolation. So I am confident in my experience that this isn't going to do anything. These are my safe exercises. So the next day when they come in, or when I check in with them, which we need to do, how are we feeling? It's probably going to be no flare-up. You'll be a little anxious, oh shit, I hope I didn't hurt them. And they could be my back hurts worse. Great, I have a really good idea of what it was. It was probably one of those 3 exercises that I did, because it wasn't this. This is the medicine. This is what's going to help them. And so I've never in my career had someone after that first day, after doing this and those simple ones, report that a flare-up happened. And so that's confidence, knowing that this is safe movement. We're not overloaded. We're not doing side shuffle, crazy shit, backflips on it. Bosu balls would be terrible because of the instability, and the spine's going to be just You want to be on a stable surface. If you did the tension test and it hurt, I wouldn't do goblets. Because this weight is right here, it's going to be coming down. If they don't know how to brace their core, it's not going to absorb the force, the low back will. So I'm almost a little cautious of doing goblets in the beginning. I'd much rather do a step up, do a push and a pull, and then what you do is the next time they come in, they're like, it's not worse. Love it. Now let's try a goblet squat the next time. Because if we do these 3, we do the step up, we do the push, and we do the rows again, and now we add in the goblet, and next day they text you, my back hurts. What do you think caused it? Love it. Awesome. Goblets are in a different category for the time being. They come back in, do these 3, they're safe, good, send them back off. They come back, let's try a seated incline press. Do your 3, do your rows, do your seated press, see how they feel. It hurts again. What's the new exercise? Press. So we don't throw a bunch of exercise at them every time they come in. And that's what people will do. I got to entertain. No, you don't. Their goal is to get out of pain. So see how they move. Teach them these safe ones. I had someone that came in, literally they were like this, barely moved. I'm like, hey, how's it going? Didn't treat them like, oh, are you okay? let's come over here. No, fuck that. I'm like, dude, how's it going? Nice to meet you. Handshake. Confidence. See how you move? Oh, I work with this all the time. Perfectly normal. And they're kind of like, what do you mean perfectly normal? I can barely move. Dude, 3 months from now, you're going to reflect on today and be like, I was walking around, I can barely move. Guarantee you when we get through this. And so it's about your words, your vocabulary, and not doing crazy movements. You will get to points where I could barely move with my back, but now I've progressed and taught my body. I don't do this with anyone, but this is to show you how resilient the body is. This is called the Jefferson curl. Rounded spine. People would tell you that's the worst thing in the world for you. You're going to die. Why did I not die? I've had terrible back pain the last 10 years, but what happened was I taught my body that I'm not a snowflake and that I'm resilient by getting stronger. I didn't go right to that. You're not going to do a Jefferson curl with your client the first time they come in. But you could show them something like that. I mean, a year from now, we're going to be doing things that you never thought of. That's the important thing. To let them know and let them see movement. That's a big thing. So it's like, I think that's what helps with me a lot, and you can even fabricate a bit. I've had back pain. I did these exercises. When we get stronger and we teach you more about pain, your guard comes down. And when your guard comes down, you're going to be more open to moving things. And before you know it, they're going to get back into their regular exercises. A flare-up is going to happen. And they're going to text you and say, I can barely move. It's like I'm back at step one. No, you're not. It's going to go back. We have our safe exercises. We're experimenting. So maybe 6 months from now, you do like a unilateral press, and the next day it's kind of irritated. But that flare-up now, because they're stronger, is significantly less than it was if they weren't strength trained. Does that make sense? So it's all in just how you present it. And I think a lot of people are scared, and they work with people like I did when I went to a doctor. They want to do surgery on me. And the number one rule when I worked with a physical therapist, never go under the knife when it comes to your back. Just because there's a lot of iffy stuff that can go on. Read the book Spark. I think we have it over here. No, we don't. Yeah, we do. Crooked, if you guys ever wanted to take this and read it, amazing book. Tells you all about back injuries. Dr. LeBenson, I worked with him. He's at LA Sports and Spine. If you ever wanted to read this, take it and read it. Amazing book. And they interviewed at the Orthopedic Surgeon Conference the top spinal doctors in the world. And they asked 100 of them how many of them would go under the knife and get spinal surgery. Guess what percentage said yes? Zero. Not a single one of them said they would do it. And that's what they do. And so you're going to have people that went under the knife and they're going to be freaked out because it's a guard. Your brain tightens stuff up on purpose. I have tight hips. Love it. Can't wait to help you. Because something that's a protective mechanism, just like that light. Why is it tight? That's what we're going to learn. So maybe you want to get a ball into their back. This could help because what's the largest organ of the human body?
The skin.
Skin. So right now, we're sending a signal to the brain to calm down. So I'm not going to do a foam roller on the back and do anything like that. I'm always going to keep this nice and neutral for the time being, for like a good month, to let them know that we're just establishing that base. We want to get stronger. We're going to plank the hell out of it. Plank over here. We're going to get to a minute. Once we get to a minute plank, that's when we can really start having fun. So then you're giving them a goal. Like they're going to come down and she's going to be like, 15 seconds, that was hard, huffing and puffing. Awesome. Day one, we're going to get to a minute. Takes some time. And then after a couple months, that's when I would get into payoffs. Payoffs are great to do with your clients, but after you've really established a strong base anteriorly and laterally. Because if you go too quickly, and that rotation is what hurts people. So know when to implement those. Does that help for your client with back pain?
Yes.
Any other questions about back pain? Yeah?
Thank you.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
For someone with back pain, because I have a client tomorrow who actually has back pain, and she's been going to a physical therapist. So I've been doing what you've been saying. I've been trying workouts with her and seeing what she can and can't do. She always wants to learn about stretches that would be good for her. What are some stretches you would recommend, I guess?
Stretches are kind of taboo because they're beginning to almost say like stretches are like icing used to be. When we sprained an ankle 10 years ago, what did we do? Ice it. What's probably one of the worst things not worst things, but there's only one real benefit of icing. Do you guys know?
Take the swelling down.
That's what I don't want. Which is contrary to what people say, right? Like, it would be like, think of a fire, a big ass fire, and like, no, we don't want the smoke, we don't want the ambulance to come. What do you mean? That's what you want. Inflammation is awesome. Because inflammation tells your brain something's off. And so then you send these cool cells down there, phagocytic cells, to clean everything up. So what happens? Guys know, what happens when we jump into cold water? Everything gets smaller. It shrinks up. It shrinks up, right? And so the same thing happens here, so you don't allow for the body to naturally get that stuff out. So the best thing that you can do after an injury is going to be, if you were to ice, it's just to knock the pain out because it hurts. Like if you really sprain it, put your foot in ice, it feels better. But I want to actually start moving on it. And that's the one time that little fucker over there is good. The Bosu ball. Unstable surfaces for injuries on the lower half are great. It's going to help with the recovery process. It's the only time that I'll do some other things, but for the most part, Bosu ball, squats, whatever, after. So that's why I'd be curious to see the rationale behind that therapist. I would never say they're wrong, but they probably have a reason, and it could be a shitty reason. And you just say, oh, great, good to know. I'm not doing that. But some people, I don't know why. But what I would try to do is you can show them some stretches, doing stuff like here, and then kind of thread the needle, come through, drive this arm down, hold. You can do, I like doing the hip stuff, 90-90 hip drills. So working here, because the hips and the low back, they kind of work together. So I want to look at what type of movement can we do. We'll do this drill later on. But we should be able to get this up to like almost 40 degrees. So my client has low back pain and they're like, well, the body's on lockdown right now. So we got to start teaching it to get there, hold it, work on that eccentric control. And so try to do some mobility stuff I would prefer to see over stretching, but you got to do what your clients like. So, you can get them into your like little happy baby pose if they like, and you can kind of, whatever that's called, it's not happy baby, but
Child's pose.
This is child's pose?
It's child's pose.
Whatever. That's right, toes up, happy baby. But I don't like touching my clients, but you can do some stretches with them. You get like a good lat stretch here, you can really feel it in your back. But stretching isn't overloading. Overloading strengthens. Think of overload as like an armor. And so the guard is probably up, not allowing them to move. A really great little drill you can do with the lacrosse ball is, Lauren, you can come over here. So you teach your clients, put your feet on the wall, spinal segmentation. Nope, no, facing the wall.
Feet on the?
Feet on the wall. Oh. There you go. So what you're going to do is, I'm going to move your hair if that's all right. So how many cervical bone do we have? 7. We have 12 thoracic. We have 5 lumbar. So I want her to let the ball go through one spinal segment at a time. And I want her to go down as far as she can. Letting that ball be the gauge. And they just go nice and slow. And this is a great little, there we go. You can come like 2 inches off the wall if you want. There you go. And sit back on it now. And then head forward. Head forward. There you go. Is that right in the middle?
No.
You want to move, you can move it however, where it's. So we're just trying to get a curvature of the spine. And that could be like, especially when your client has that pain, set like really good expectations. I got a great drill from one of my coaches. It's really going to help with your back pain. So then they're excited, like, oh, there's something that's going to help me. And then you try to go down and touch your toes, essentially. Nice and controlled. Nice and controlled. There you go. So then it's like you got a nice curvature here. Good. And so then that's a good curvature of their spine. And what you'll have people with back pain, it's crazy because you'll literally see like it's straight. Oh, wow. So it's like it's just locked up. So they're trying to go, they're going, and then it's like So this segment, the thoracic region, should have extension and flexion. But because of that guard, and that guard is then telling the brain, don't move, something's wrong. So it's tightening it up. So thoracic mobility, that's why it's one of those 9 checkpoints. Foot, knee, hip, lumbar, thoracic, cervical, shoulders, elbow, wrist. Make sure that it's movement. And you can just do little drills like that for your clients that don't have low back pain, but just to work with mobility. Does that help?
Yes.
Anything else?
Well, I have a client who he hasn't worked out like ever, and so it's really hard for him to go down. And yeah, basically it's like a robot. He just goes here and then he's like, oh my god.
Okay.
That's what you were saying.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know how how you fix it.
So a lot of times with movement, the answer is very simple. If it hurts, don't do it. So people will say like, back squats really hurt my knees. Have you not done back squats? Well, I have to. No one has to do them. I'll watch you squat, and more than likely you don't know how to squat, but just letting people know you don't have to do certain exercises. So do a bridge instead, and just work on strengthening the glutes. Teach them how to hinge, just coming back and squeezing their glutes. That hinge pattern is so important. People don't know how to do it, and they don't understand the difference between. It's fine. They don't know the difference between a hinge and coming forward. So you tell people to hinge. What they'll do is they'll go like this. That's not a hinge. A hinge is having this behind you and use your badonkadonk to knock it back. So you teach people how to push it back. You have your drawer, close your drawer, your sock drawer with your butt. That's what you want to do. So teach them this hinge pattern, and most people don't know how to do that. So don't make them do an exercise like an RDL if they can't own it and then they get pain. You can just regress to do an exercise like a bridge. Squats are a lot friendlier to help them move better, and then you can progress into those. Okay. All right, let's get into that workout.